Hi, this is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. Today we are making this fabulous bee wreath using 10-inch wide, 30-foot long poly burlap mesh. I have a 14-inch wire wreath form from Dollar Tree, some zip ties, and I'm going to cut this using my wood burner. I have 4 rolls here. You only need 2. 2 10-inch wide, 30-inch long to do this wreath. I'm just trimming the edge off here. And you can use a rotary cutter or some nice sharp scissors if you like, if you don't want to fool with the wood burner. And I'm going to measure it out at 16 inches. If you're using 2 rolls, cut both rolls, the entire rolls, at 16 inches. And I'm going to stay in the lines in between the weave here. It looks like I'm going crooked, but I'm not. Once you pull it tight, you can see that it's straight. And we're going to do another one. And you don't want to go too fast. This will kind of fuse the edges to prevent fraying. And you can use Decor mesh if you like. This is just a much sturdier material. And now we're going to do, I guess you'd call it a cruffle or a woodland ruffle. And what I'm going to do is fold it over about 1 inch and then roll it 3 more times. So 4 rolls total from one end, and then you clip it. Flip it over, do the same thing, and you can see a little better on the second part here. Fold it over. I like to get my fingers all the way across it and hold it down. It helps me roll it a little straighter and tighter. And then 3 more times after you fold it, so 4 times total, and then you just scrunch them together just like that. And instead of just attaching it to the wreath, what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. You see what I'm doing here. And I have to give a shout out to Julie on Julie's Wreath Boutique. Sorry about that. Julie's Wreath Boutique. That's where I learned this method. I believe she came up with it. She's very talented lady. I'll link her channel in the description. You should really check her out. So we're going to use our zip tie, and we attached it to that one crossbar on the second from the outside ring, and we're going to zip tie it in place. Now we're going to show you another cruffle in the black, because we're going to alternate that yellow and black with the black all the way around the outside. And we do the exact same thing. It's the exact same method on each piece of mesh throughout this entire video. We do 4 rolls and ruffle it together. And we lay it down. And then 1, 2, 3 more rolls. And then we just scrunch it together. Remove our clip there. Fold it in half. Now, place your spot ties on the wreath and have them partially to see there. That have it started, just don't pull it too tight where there's a room to fit the mesh inside it. Do that beforehand, it makes your life a lot easier. So we're going to do one more here, and it's the second ring from the outside, and we're just going to start it where it grabs. And we're going to cruffle the yellow and black. So yeah, when you're buying your mesh, you can do all solid yellow, solid black. You can do yellow along with window pane, yellow and black, however you want to do it. Amazon has combinations of it. The best price I found on this poly burlap is on Craft Outlet, but there is a minimum purchase for the free shipping. So to make this one wreath, Amazon may be the way to go if you're not into ordering, a whole bunch of craft supplies at once. So excuse, I have such a small workspace, I kind of have to work with what I got here. And oh, by the way, that's just a glass cutting board. You want a glass cutting board underneath, protecting your workspace if you're using that wood burner. That'll just melt right through your mat. So. And we're going to attach another one. And you see we're just alternating the yellow and black with the solid black. And I ended up with 16 pieces, 8 of each, to go all the way around the outside. And of course, get your wire snips and clip all the excess. Point them down to the back side of the wreath and clip the tails off. So here we've gone all the way around, and that's the first layer. If you're enjoying this content, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing and ring that bell to get notifications when I upload new videos. Thank you so much for being here. Your support helps my channel grow. I really appreciate it. Let's get back to it. So now we'll do the second layer. And I've got this yellow and black window pane mesh, and we're going to cut it the same way. We're going to measure 16 inches. You're already going to have it cut if you're just using 2 rolls. But if you do use this window pane mesh, you get as close to 16 inches as you can to see where I'm coming down in between the yellow weave. Just get as close to 16 inches as you can so you can get in that position to cut it there. You don't want to cut it all in between where you'll have all those black weave going the other way sticking out everywhere. So just get it as close to 16 inches as you can. If it's a little bigger is better than smaller, but if you're limited on mesh, just, do it as close to 16 as you can. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Like I said, every piece is done the exact same way with this woodland ruffle or cruffle. Roll it 4 times from each side, and this window pane is very easy to work with. It's really nice. It's easier to roll it. And I'm showing you this again, but it's the exact same thing. And just scrunched up. Sorry, I'm getting out of the screen a little bit there. And of course, we're not going to fold these this time. That was just for the first layer around the outside. This is going to be attached to the wreath, and you're going to put them in the direction that the wreath goes. And I'm sorry I'm missing footage. I attached these pipe cleaners first. So I popped this little picture up. Put 2 in each section on the 2 center rings. And we just continue around. And we just add them. They go with the flow of the wreath. They go the opposite direction of the first layer. And just alternate your colors. Give it a couple nice twists. And we're going to kind of fluff them together a little bit. Now you can roll your curls a little looser when you make your cruffles. And they might be a little fluffier. They won't be as stiff. That's up to you. I like to roll mine tighter because they tend to loosen up after a while. So here we have the second layer is in place, and now we're going to go find all the crossbars. And this is the same thing. We're going to do cruffles again, same exact thing. And everywhere you see a crossbar, there should be 6 of them, I believe. You're going to take your cruffle and put the pipe cleaner around, bring it to the back, pinch it, fold it in half and pinch it together and twist it nice and tight on that back side of your cruffle and run it through. Now you can add those pipe cleaners beforehand as well if you like. That's entirely up to you. It'll be a little easier to find. I've got to go in the back and find it and attach it to the back. And just like anything else I've showed you, you spin it around, tighten it 2 or 3 times, and then keep on going 4 or 5 more times. And then clip it and tuck it into your wreath. And I gotta fluff it back up. Every time you do it, you gotta fluff it up. And here's another one. It's the same thing. Find your crossbar, bring your pipe cleaners through, and twist it to the back. So this will go in the opposite direction, and it will cover up where you have that first layer zip tied. I know I go back and forth, zip ties, spot ties. My son's always telling me it's zip ties. I'm always saying spot ties. So spot ties, zip ties, cable ties, whatever you want to call it. And we just go all the way around, and that just fills it in, and if you're like have some extra pieces, find a spot, stick it in there. So this is, you're supposed to have a couple pieces, you have a few pieces left, and then you can just fill it in a little more that way. So yeah, here we go. We'll twist it around and clip it in the back. I already mentioned that, but we'll show you now. It just gives it a sturdier, thicker piece that's easier to manipulate. And here she is. We're still gonna do ribbon bundles, but, and excuse I have a small workspace, I know. There you go, there's a better shot. So we're gonna go ahead and make a hanger in the meantime. And we just fold it in half, make a loop. Twist the loop 3-4 times. And what I do is find a crossbar, it'll stay in place better, but then you got to make sure that if you put a sign on, a bow on, it lines up where you want that hanger to be. Or where it aligns with your hanger or to the side, however you decide to do it. So we're just going to push it through the first 2 rings from the outside. And you see them cross it over, well, fiddling with it too much now. Cross it over the front and around the back and pull it nice and tight, and then across the front again and just twist them together, and you just twist it together and clip it and tuck it just like anything else. So here's the 6 rolls of ribbon I'm using. I got these from Amazon. I'll include the link. You can pick any ribbon you like. This is 2.5 inches. This is a nice sturdy ribbon. And we're going to cut all these at 12 inches. And I'm using 6 different ribbon. So I'm going to alternate the bundles. So you choose which 3 ribbon you want in each bundle. And for one bundle, you're going to need 3 of each. And for the alternating bundles, you're going to need 2 of each, if that makes any sense. So this ribbon is going to be in my 3 bundle group here. So once we get them cut, we're going to dovetail both ends of each ribbon. Fold it in half, cut it from the folded end up to the wired edge, and do the other side, like I said, both sides of each piece. And I've got them all cut. You see the sunflowers on the left. I only have 2 bundles of that group and 3 bundles of the other group. And if you just have 3 rolls, you can just do all the bundles the same, and that will also be beautiful. Use any ribbon that you choose. So I have one attached here, but I'm going to show you how to do it. We lay the first one down, and we kind of crisscross just slightly the next one on top. And be mindful of, if you have things like this truck, if you have a picture you want to be up, the right side up, the way the wreath is, be mindful how you place it compared to where your hanger is or is going to be and where your bow is going to be. And we pinch them together. I'm just folding it in half to make sure I'm in the center. You want it the same length on both sides. And we're skipping 2 pipe cleaners and putting the bundles in. That may not be completely accurate. You have to pay attention to where they line up about the same. And this this wreath is so full, you might have to move them around a little bit. So don't clip your pipe cleaners until you know you've got them in the right place, so you can still move them around. And make sure they're not overlapping too much. They're spread out nice between each other before you clip them. And then you're just going to have to reshape them a little bit. And you just pull them apart. And this is sturdy ribbon, so don't be afraid to yank on it. Get it in the position you want. And again, I haven't clipped them yet. Once you clip the pipe cleaner out of your way, you can shape them a lot better. But you can kind of see what I'm doing here. You pull them apart and kind of shape them so they're curving inward towards the wreath. And you can cut them a little shorter if you like. I wouldn't suggest cutting them any longer. They might be kind of hanging off the front of it, kind of funny if you cut them too long. But you can cut them at 10 inches and have a little more space in between. It's a matter of preference. So once you're happy with the placement, we do what we always do. We take the 2 pipe cleaners and twist them around 4 or 5 more times and clip them. And we fold that piece underneath the ribbon. And then we're going to pull it out again and get it more in position. And see, once you get it twisted around a few times and you see how it's hiding the pipe cleaner, that's what you want. And you just, with this wire ribbon, you can mold it and shape it however you want. And again, don't be afraid to pull on it. Tuck it under a little bit, spread it around. And you're probably going to go back over it 100 times till you're happy with it, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be all perfect right now. You get it all clipped and ready to, get the pipe cleaners out of your way. And here is a shot of it with all the bundles on. It's so pretty. And you'll see that I have 2 of the same bundles next to each other. That's okay. We're putting the bow in between those 2. So now I'm going to make my own little sign. You can get signs just about anywhere to go on your wreath, or you don't have to do a sign. And I have this oval wood plank I got from Dollar General, I believe. And I removed the hanger and plugged the holes and painted it white. And I printed this. This is an Etsy paper. I printed on race paper. And I'm just going to Mod Podge it to the wood oval. And just pressing it down. And I apply it lightly with this rice paper. Excuse me. You don't want it seeping through and getting soaking wet and crazy. And make sure everything's pressed down, especially the edges. The edges tend to be, for some reason, the edges are so easily missed. I'm just smoothing out any air bubbles. And we're just playing with it now. So now I'm going to trim it as close to the edge with my scissors as I can. And we're going to put the top coat of Mod Podge on. So, and you've got a little bit of paper sticking over the edge, and that's okay. You want that to get Mod Podge on it and get stiff, because when it's dry, we're going to take a sanding block or an emery board like I have here, and we're going to burnish the edges and get that excess paper off. Now, you can't really see it on camera, but there was some strange mark underneath my design, underneath the paint, I don't know, on my oval there, and I had this little skinny ribbon, so I said, well, let's just cover it up. And then I just made a little tiny bow, just a regular bow like you tie your shoes, and glued that on. And you don't have to do any of this. You don't have to make your own sign. You don't have to add the ribbon. If you do make your own sign, you do it however you like. So now we're attaching the pipe cleaners. This is how we're going to attach it to the wreath. I already did one. You find the center of your pipe cleaner. And this is my Gorilla Glue Clear Grip. It's a lot like E6000. Some of you may prefer that. I prefer the Gorilla Glue. And that is for our permanent hold. And then some hot glue for the temporary hold. So I put the Gorilla Glue first, and then a spot of the hot glue on either side of it. Press my pipe cleaner down in there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the top side of the pipe cleaner. Put more Gorilla Glue on top, and then the hot glue. And I find felt works the best. You can use a piece of ribbon, a piece of fabric, and you press that over top of all your pipe cleaner and your glue. Cut your piece big enough to cover all the glue, and some might ooze out the side, and that's okay. And then once that hot glue is holding, you can continue to work. And basically, you just have to find a spot to push your pipe cleaners through and position your sign, and only twist it a couple times and make sure it's in the right position before you really tighten it down, or don't clip it till you know it's in the right spot. And we're going to look, and I think we like the position here. And then we've got the other pipe cleaners on the other end, and we're going to find a place, dig through there and find that wire ring and get it in there. And again, just make sure you got it in the right position before you tighten it down and clip it. So now I've done that. I'm refluffing my mesh and ribbon around it so the sign shows. A little bit of ribbon over top is fine. And here it is. Look how beautiful. Oh my goodness. These Etsy Digital papers are amazing. So now we're going to make our bow. We're going to use 2 of the same ribbon that we used in the bundles, plus this 1.5" black and white buffalo check ribbon. And we're going to cut these in 18-inch pieces. And we're going to fold one end down to the 6-inch mark. And then we're going to dovetail the other end. And I'm missing some footage again. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. I did 3 of one ribbon and 2 of the other, I believe. And then I've got my buffalo check. I'm going to do 3 of these, 18 inches down to the 6-inch spot, and dovetail that end. Okay, now I've got all my pieces here, and we want to alternate them in about 1 inch above where the ribbon comes down, where the shorter end of the ribbon ends. You want to pinch it there and just put it between your fingers and alternate the ribbon. Get that one in place. Then I'm going to grab my next ribbon. They're sticking to each other over here. And about 1 inch above the shorter piece, the edge of the shorter piece. And then we just alternate back and forth. You don't want all one ribbon bulked together and all one ribbon bulked together on the other side, you know. That'll look, it's just not pleasing. You get them on your hand, and you just grab a hold of them. And get your zip tie. And of course it's going to take me a minute. And you can't really start the zip tie. I was getting ready to start. I'm like, wait a minute, I won't be able to fit it through there. So just hold on to it. Get that zip tie. I know I go back and forth. I call them spot ties. I call them zip ties. My son's always fussing at me. They're zip ties, but for some reason I want to call them spot ties. So I'm in between. I say both. Some call them cable ties. And before we cinch that all the way down, we're going to take a pipe cleaner and we're going to push it through that zip tie there, because that's how we're going to attach it. And once that's in place, then we tighten our zip tie. And there it is. Now I'm going to kind of fluff it up a little bit. Pull the tails up first. Pull them and twist them. Don't be afraid to twist them and yank on them. Fluff the loops a little bit, but it's a lot easier once it's attached to the wreath to really get them going. Plus you're going to do this several times. By the time you're done, you're flipping your wreath over back and forth, and you're going to have to do it more than once. So we clip off the excess zip tie there, and I'm just going to take the pipe cleaner and run it in between the ribbon on the bottom and twist it a couple times, and then we're going to find a place to run it between the mesh and attach to the wire ring. And just like with the sign, I was underneath there kind of just twisting it, and there you go. You can't really see it, but I'm just twisting it a couple times, and I'm going to make sure it's in position, adjust it, move it around, and then we'll tighten it down and clip it. And we're going to just fluff it up, twist them, pull them. You don't want them all clumped up. Spread it around so there's different ribbon next to each other, so on and so forth. And just keep on fluffing until you're happy with it. And with that, my friends, this wreath is done. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'm just starting out. Your support would help me immensely. And ring that bell to get notifications when I upload new videos. Thanks again. Bye.